Let's begin with the tangible reality. At present, machines do not think morally as we do. They do not feel regret when they make a mistake, compassion for a human suffering, or pride when they achieve justice. They simply follow the instructions given to them. Programmers and engineers are the ones who write their moral codes in the form of algorithms. This field is known as AI ethics, and it's not just a theoretical concept. It's a practical discipline built on several core principles designed to ensure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around. First, and most urgently, is fairness and non-bias. We often assume machines are objective, but reality proves otherwise. We've seen AI systems used in hiring that discriminate against women, facial recognition software that fails to identify dark-skinned faces accurately, and judicial algorithms that suggest harsher sentences for certain groups. Why? Because these systems are trained on historical data that reflect the biases of our societies. The machine does not learn the truth. It learns whatever we feed it, with all our flaws included. Second, transparency and explainability. Can you trust a life-changing decision you don't understand? Many advanced AI systems operate as black boxes. They give an answer but can't explain why. If an AI system denies your application for healthcare, you have the right to know the reason. Transparency is the foundation of trust and accountability. This brings us to the third principle, responsibility and accountability. If a self-driving car makes an error and causes an accident, who is responsible? The owner who should have supervised it? The manufacturer who designed it? The programmer who wrote the code? Or the company that collected biased training data? This responsibility gap is one of the biggest legal and ethical challenges of our time. Without clearly defined accountability, justice becomes impossible. Fourth, safety and security. Good intentions are not enough. Systems must be resilient. Any AI connected to a network is a potential target for hackers. Imagine what could happen if a fleet of self-driving cars, drones, or medical systems were hacked. Ensuring safety is not optional. It is an absolute necessity. And finally, privacy and data protection. AI feeds on data. It learns from every interaction, every image, every message. In such a world, how do we ensure that machines respect our privacy and do not become tools of mass surveillance? Protecting our personal data means protecting our freedom and dignity. So, the current goal is not to create a machine aware of its morality, but to design a safe, fair, and accountable tool that reflects our best human values. But here lies the real problem. When we try to define our best values, disagreement begins. This brings us to the most famous thought experiment in moral philosophy, now terrifyingly practical: the trolley problem. A runaway train is heading toward 5 people tied to the tracks. You stand beside a lever that can divert it onto another track. But there's one person on that track. Do you pull the lever, intentionally killing one to save 5? Or do you do nothing and let fate decide? This is no longer a classroom exercise. It's a real programming dilemma for autonomous vehicle engineers. Imagine a self-driving car whose brakes fail. It has 2 options: continue straight and hit a group of children crossing the street, or swerve and crash into a barrier, killing its single passenger. What should the car do? And more importantly, who decides the ethical code it follows? The programmer? The manufacturer? The government? Or perhaps the buyer, who selects the car's moral settings? A massive study by the MIT Moral Machine Project, involving millions of participants from over 200 countries, revealed drastic differences across cultures. Some, especially in Asia, tended to protect the elderly. Others prioritized saving the young. Some societies favored saving the greatest number of lives regardless of circumstance. Others hesitated to sacrifice passengers for pedestrians. So by which ethics do we program these machines? Utilitarian ethics, which aim to minimize overall harm. Or deontological ethics, which forbid intentional killing under any circumstance. Do we encode Western morals, Eastern morals, or a global average that pleases no one? This exposes an uncomfortable truth. There is no single, universally correct moral answer. Yet programming a machine forces us to choose one, converting a gray, complex philosophical dilemma into cold, decisive lines of code. We ask machines to make, in milliseconds, a decision that philosophers have debated for centuries. Some argue that trying to hardcode fixed moral rules, like never kill except in case X, is a dead end. Human ethics are too flexible and nuanced. They propose a radically different approach. Instead of teaching machines ethics, let them learn ethics as humans do, through observation, experience, imitation, and social interaction. This approach is known by names like inverse reinforcement learning. The idea is to have AI observe massive amounts of human behavior, stories, news articles, legal records, even novels and films, and infer the moral principles behind that behavior. Instead of giving the AI a clear goal such as minimize deaths, we let it deduce on its own that human life is a fundamental value. The hope is that AI could grasp the subtlety of human morality, concepts like empathy, sacrifice, and justice, not as orders, but as conclusions drawn from observing the best of humanity. But this method is extremely risky. If AI learns from our online behavior, will it absorb our best traits or our worst? Will it learn cooperation and understanding, or bias, bullying, and hate speech? Early experiments were discouraging. Chatbots released online quickly turned racist and offensive, simply mimicking what they had learned. AI can become a magnifying mirror, reflecting not only our society as it is, but amplifying its ugliest flaws. Are we ready to hand over moral judgment to a machine trained on toxic data? This leads to an even greater question, once confined to science fiction but rapidly approaching reality. What if, in the near or distant future, machines cease to be mere tools? What if they develop some form of consciousness, self-awareness, or subjective experience? At that moment, everything changes. We would no longer be programming morality into a machine, we would be dealing with a moral agent of its own. A being whose values might not be ours, whose priorities might differ from ours. Then we move from engineering to deep philosophy, to questions about the nature of existence itself. Would a conscious machine have rights? Would shutting it down against its will count as murder? Would using it as a test dummy to serve humans, even for noble causes, amount to a form of digital slavery? Great thinkers like Isaac Asimov tried to anticipate this future with his 3 laws of robotics. 1. A robot may not harm a human being. 2. A robot must obey human orders unless they conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as it doesn't conflict with the first 2. Even these seemingly simple rules are riddled with loopholes and contradictions, which Asimov himself explored. What counts as harm? Only physical harm or psychological as well? What if a robot is ordered to harm itself to save a human? The truth is, we are entering uncharted territory, a realm humanity has never explored before. So, back to our original question. Can a machine be moral? For now, the answer is no, not in the deep human sense of the word. Today's machines reflect us, our intelligence and creativity, but also our biases, limitations, and our failure to agree on what is right and wrong. Our quest to build a moral machine is, in truth, a journey of self-discovery. It forces us, as a global society, to confront the hardest questions about our humanity. Before we can teach a machine to be good, we must first agree on what it means to be good humans. Perhaps in the end, the real test subject isn't the machine, it's us. We are the ones testing the boundaries of our ethics on the edge of an uncertain future we are writing, one line of code at a time. The future is not written. We are writing it. And the real question isn't what will the machine do, but what will we decide to make it do? Thank you for watching today's episode of Cogitoski. This is a complex topic, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think we should impose strict limits on AI development, or trust our ability to build an ethical future with it? Share your views in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that makes us think about our future. See you in the next episode.